What makes MI Remodeling unique in terms of their ability to do the things you're talking about?
Unfortunately, cost is very important to people, and their eyes just can't believe that that's the price. How do you deal with that?
When the job extends way beyond what it's supposed to and the cost is higher, it becomes a negative for people if they weren't anticipating it to begin with. So, Gary, what still excites you about what you do every day?
You ready for radio? Awesome.
Your house is their business. It's the Inside Outside guys. Now let's get back to more with Chuck Bridenstine and Ken Calverley.
Welcome back, everybody. Appreciate you being with us. We're going to have a quick couple segments here with the guy that you need to hear from, Mr. Graham Muehling from MI Remodelers, and he brought a special guest with him. Hi, Gary.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having us today.
So who'd you bring with us? Who'd you bring with you today, Gary?
Mr. Personality himself, my son, Graham.
Hi, guys.
Perfect. Graham, you've been watching some of these projects with your dad. What's the coolest thing you've seen during one of his remodels?
Probably when it's all done and it's all finished and it looks so nice and clear.
I like that.
What a great answer.
I like that. Do you like watching them tear stuff apart maybe and rebuild it? Do you enjoy that?
Indeed.
Do you ever pick up a hammer yourself and just start hitting stuff?
Probably not.
No?
Gotta get in control. I gotta know how to do the hammer or else I'll get injured and hurt.
So, Graham, do us a favor. Tell us about your dad's company.
Well, we are the integrity guys and we work hard and help and
Bring people good work.
yeah.
Bottom line.
Yeah, MI Remodelers, the integrity guys, exist to help homeowners begin to love their home again. And the way that we do that is by helping them enjoy it. We did a case study recently and we learned that homeowners are embarrassed and ashamed of their outdated home, and this prevents them from having dinner parties, having families over, and enjoying their home. And so we don't just change doorknobs, we change people's lives by remodeling their home one room or one space at a time.
So, Gary, play with that a little bit because there's a lot of ego attached to my owning that house, whatever it is, and yet I really don't know why I don't like it. I'm not a designer. I don't get it. How does MI Remodelers help people overcome that without maybe insulting them? Because that could be kind of fragile, right?
Of course. Well, remember, the average home in our area is over 60 years old.
Okay.
And we use our homes today wildly different than we used to. When I was a kid, the average 1,200 square foot home had 3.2 occupants. And now the average 1,500 square foot home has 2.2. So less people per home, less children now, and larger rooms are what everyone wants.
Well,
I had a bedroom once that was 8 by 8.
Well, Chuck grew up with 5 brothers and sisters. There were 4 of us with our 2 parents. We lived in a 3-bedroom house with 1 bathroom. So we understand that.
Mom and Dad slept on a pull-out couch for years.
God bless them.
I know.
God bless them. That's awesome. So you specialize in helping people get rid of that. A lot of people look at a house, they buy a house, they have plans, but they have no idea what's involved. In other words, a young family may have 2 kids and they know they want more, but they have no idea what's involved by adding a couple more rooms to that house.
That is so totally true. Most homeowners are not aware of what can be done to their home, and it blows their mind when we're able to assist them in designing remodels that will effectively achieve what they're looking for, whether it's expanding to add more rooms or reworking an existing floor plan. We like larger rooms. We like entertaining style setups, so we're often taking interior walls out to open up kitchens and living rooms to the back patio.
What makes MI Remodeling unique in terms of their ability to do the things you're talking about? Because not every company can do that well.
We found over time that the biggest point of contention for homeowners who've received a major renovation, not just our customers in a whole, is that they wish they had started with a professional design.
Good
And
point.
so we bring in those professionals up front, and we used to charge money for it, but the biggest gripe we got from our customers was the cost, so now we just include it for free.
Unfortunately, cost is very important to people. And just like they're not sure what can be done with their house, they really have no idea, what the costs are when they come in. And I know not just you, but so many contractors out there take that piece of paper and they hand it over to a homeowner, and their eyes just can't believe that that's the price, especially if they got a bid maybe pre-COVID.
Of course.
How do you deal with that?
I'm familiar that inflation historically is around 4%, and we've observed in the home improvement sector that based on the past few years, it's been 2 to 3 times that. And so I just throw around the number 10%. And so if you were to get a quote year after year, it would typically go up around 10%. And so what we've been able to do lately to help homeowners is we have a great partner for a flexible payment option. And so guys, for a $50K remodel, I can do it for you with 0 down and payments of around $550 a month.
Wow. And that's adding value to the living experience and to the asset that we call home.
Yeah, and this allows homeowners to get the work done sooner while prices are low. This is typically work that they want and need done. And so waiting just drives up the price. And then the best benefit is that if you had a project for this year in mind and one for next year, by pairing them together and putting them all on one bill, you're able to get more remodeling. Your joy level is much higher because you don't have to have contractors in year after year disrupting your household.
And from what you said, you're definitely saving money, because if you hold one of those projects off to next year, it's going to cost you more. It's going to cost you at least 10 more percent.
It's true. And listen, if you had your bathroom remodeled by MI this year and your backyard next year, both of those projects require a dumpster. If I did them at the same time, we can throw them all in the same dumpster.
Sure. Mobilization costs and everything else. You're absolutely.
Also, a portion of our investment is in planning and organizing, and so we save you time and stress by organizing and planning for a 2-project remodel versus doing them one at a time year after year.
So when we get back from break, we talked about making a house bigger. There's a lot of ways you can do that. You can go up, you can go out. Some instances you can go down into their basement. Let's talk about what people who maybe not want to increase the size of their house, but they just want to make it look nicer. What rooms are they concentrating on? You listen to the Inside Outside Guys on WJR.
Welcome back to the Inside Outside Guys on the Inside Outside Guys radio network. Now with the answers to all your housing and professional contractor questions, Ken Calverley and Chuck Bridenstine.
Welcome back, everybody. We've got Gary Muehling from MI Remodelers here. We want to take advantage of him and his son as much as we can. Gary, last time you were here, you mentioned a renovation project from one of our listeners. Did that turn out? Am I treading thin ice here? Or?
It is turning out absolutely beautiful. We're at the finishing line here for a major renovation. Our homeowners contacted us asking to expand their kitchen, and they didn't want to go outside of their existing footprint. Yeah, we found some space in one of the stalls of their garage to expand, and by just taking 6 feet out of one of their stalls, we were able to add a mudroom, expand their laundry room, rework a closet so that there are more cabinets. And this homeowner previously, she said she couldn't cook with her husband. There's no room for us both in this space. And now they don't even have to be within 5 feet of each other, and they all have plenty of space to work.
So actually, Gary, you probably save the marriage as well as the home.
That would be a large feat, but I think we certainly improved the way they produce meals.
Hey, you brought a great value, that's for sure. So how hot, for lack of a better word, are kitchens and bathrooms right now?
Well, kitchens and bathrooms are always the rooms in the home that really set the home off. And these are personally my favorite rooms to remodel. It doesn't just end with the kitchen or the bathroom. It's not unusual that you'd want your laundry on the first floor nowadays instead of in the basement. And it's not unusual you'd want a covered porch to enter.
Can I back you up on that? Because porches are the poor stepchild of housing design and building. We love them, and you do a great job of integrating new porches into existing elevations.
It's one of my favorite elements on a home, and if you look down the street, it's not unusual that each homeowner would show off their own personal style with their front porch.
And it protects the siding and the front door. I mean, it's just a great element if it's done right.
Of course. Yeah, a covered front porch gives you a way to enter and exit when the weather is extreme, which in Michigan could be 4 months of the year or so.
Sure.
Gary, you're located in Rochester Hills, Michigan. Where all will MI Remodelers go to?
So I guess the question might be, where wouldn't we go? We cover about 7 counties in Michigan, and so not only are we a great company to consider for your project if you're listening, we could even help with your summer home. You guys sent me to Paw Paw for a project not too long ago, and I think Houghton Lake for another one.
Wow.
So it's more about the project for us than the location.
I love that. Now, use YouTube to document a lot of the work you do. Why will you do that? And what benefit to the buyers is that?
So we want everyone to understand what's involved, and what better way for us to do that than to show you step by step what all takes place for a major renovation.
So, Graham, do you you edit these? What do you do? Do you take the videos for Dad?
Yeah.
Expound on that, Graham. Graham, when my son was your age, I took him to all the job sites. Gary, it's such a blessing what you're able to do with your son, to spend the time with him and on the job sites. And at this age, you're teaching him a lot about society and how to deal with people in general.
Yeah, it's some of the most satisfying work that I do, getting to work with my son Graham. We started a podcast, The Integrity Guys, and what we do on each episode is Graham and I talk about popular stuff going on in construction, and we're trying to share information with homeowners to help them make better decisions about
Well,
their home.
and you say people ask better questions when they've seen your YouTube videos. Why is that important?
To be honest, most homeowners don't know enough to do the project themselves, and that's why they're looking for a professional. And whether they choose us or another company, we bring value to every project. We've got a few great ideas and some really cool experiences that allow us to think outside of the box. And so adding a mudroom where there wasn't one creates a place for homeowners to enter and exit that they didn't have before. Most old homes in the neighborhood weren't designed with a mudroom. It's typically in the middle of the first floor.
Mudroom. What's a mudroom?
Graham knows what a mudroom is.
What's a mudroom, Graham?
A mudroom is where your laundry room is, and it's like next door, and it's where you put like your shoes, and like it's a little bit dirty with like a little bit muddy, but it's like an extra place by our laundry room.
I like that. So, Gary, what still excites you about what you do every day?
Designing functional spaces excites me, and looking at the challenges of a past built home and understanding how we like to use our homes today. Every family uses their home differently. I get to understand the needs of my client enough to make powerful recommendations that are usually well received.
And again, MA Remodelers is not an interior remodeling company. It's not an exterior remodeling company. It's a remodeling company inside and outside the home.
That's totally true. You guys published a cool article about us years ago in the Free Press or news talking about full service companies that kick butt. We take on the projects that most companies would not be so interested in.
I think that's why we like you guys so much. Will you also do commercial projects?
We will work on commercial sites as well, but we wouldn't be a good fit to build a new construction site commercial. There's so many different things to know about commercial building, and we've invested our entire career on learning residential primarily.
How important is good design?
I think that is the number one most essential element of every project, because from the start, before any hammers are swung and any demolition happens, we can make sure each room fits the customer's wants and needs, and actually you can put on the Oculus, see it in 3D, walk through the space virtually. And a big guy had us make his bathroom stall 6 inches wider in the past because he could tell from walking through it virtually that it was too narrow.
Interesting. And not only that, but when you start well ahead, you're going to be able to tell the homeowners, yeah, you can have that. No, you can't have that, because a lot of people's dreams are one out of their budget or may not be able to be done because of setbacks and their property lines and stuff like that. So starting early is your best bet.
Absolutely. The way that I learned I had to invest in design is when I did a project for a homeowner and I allowed them to make 12 changes along the way, and it took a 3-month timeline and turned it into 4.5 months. And we more than doubled the scope of the work, because as we worked through it, customer loved our work and they kept adding things, which is a huge compliment, until it gets to the end of their 3-month lease and there's still 2 months of work remaining. So I realized then investing in design and in planning was worthwhile, because our favorite way to do it is ready, aim, fire, and our customers love it that way too. And that's how at the end we're able to stay within budget and within our time frame.
Well, I got to believe people are far happier if there aren't 12 changes, even though they love what you do and they're asking you to make those changes. When the job extends way beyond what it's supposed to and the cost is higher, it becomes a negative for people if they weren't anticipating it to begin with, right?
Of course. Homeowners who ask us for a quote start out with one product or project in mind, maybe one room, like their kitchen. And after talking about what can be done with the existing kitchen and what options are available, once a homeowner understands that they can expand into the next room, rework multiple rooms, maybe delete a closet, things like that, you end up making more use of every square foot that you have.
So do you have room on the schedule for some more big projects this year?
We do, yeah. Typically, we're around 4 to 6 months out for a major renovation, and right now we may be closer to 3 or 4 months out. So there's plenty of opportunity to get on the schedule for your summer project.
How about some contact information if people want to get a hold of you?
You could call 888-544-7366, and don't forget to tell them Graham sent ya.
And you get paid a commission when Dad sells a job?
I don't get paid permission when Dad sells a job, but every Friday I get, if I'm good for the week, then I get $3 of commission.
Hang on. It went up to $4.
Oh, yeah. You better hang on. That's Graham, got to get that number up, buddy. When I was your age, I got $4 a week for allowance, and that was in the early 80s.
Yeah, but you stole that.
I did not.
Well, hang on. I only got $3 in that was after the 80s.
Gary Muehling, Graham Muehling from MI Remodelers, thank you so much for coming on with us today. Again, people can find you at miremodelers.com, right?
Yes, sir.
And at theinsideoutsideguys.com.
Of course.
Appreciate you guys coming on. You're welcome. You're listening to the Inside Outside Guys on WJR. Stick around for more.